Alright boys and girls, and welcome back to another building video. This time I'm bringing you guys everyone's favorite footprint, the old 2x2. This is of course a HDune 2x2 footprint, a classic design that I'm now bringing into the pretty much 2026. This base has a good focus on online raid, whilst having a nice offline raid cost to it as well. Plenty of places to store loot and spread throughout the base, whilst having a bunkered core as well. This base is simple, easy, quick and fast to throw up, and you don't need too much building experience to wrap your head around this one. This base also comes with optional externals, meaning this could be a 1 TC base if you do not want to do any externals. The base is going to go up nice and quick, whilst also providing everything you could need for a longer wipe. And I can certainly see this house being a bit of a fan favorite, and I personally think it's a banger. At the time of watching this, I'm going to be playing in the Twitch Rivals event, so I'll be live on Twitch. I'm going to have that linked in the description if you do want to come by and see, and we'll go ahead and break down the tour for you now. Alright, let's get in now with the tour of today's video. At the time of watching this, it's pretty much Christmas, so if you're doing that, Merry Christmas to you. Second up, this is recorded a while ago because currently I'll be playing in the Twitch Rivals tournament. We're on Team Allrats and I'll be live on Twitch for this event, so if you're seeing this when I post it, that's where I am right now. We're going to be live. Have a look. But anyway, we got a tour to do, so let me take you through it. HDune 2x2 footprint is of course a very popular one. It's been going on for some time now, but I wanted to take it up into 2026 pretty much now, which is crazy to say. Give it a little revamp and hopefully bring it into today's ages, giving you guys a favorite footprint but a brand new base on it. So we got two externals on this, and these externals are optional. You can make this a 1 TC base if you wanted to. Coming inside though, it's a standard disconnectable TC here, and we set it up with a little bit of twig on the inside. Consider checking out the Patreon for $5. You can gain access to 20 private bases, all varying in group sizes, and I will update this every single month. And big thanks to everyone that's on there already. If you're not already sold, you'll also gain access to any future versions of the Spink Box that I use in my PvP videos. And there's a brand new tier on the Patreon where you can gain access to priority responses, and you can even load into my own private server where I can load in bases to these cool and unique island spawns to record my cinematics and tours. The server is also filled with a bunch of useful plugins, and the slots on this will be very limited. You can also load in sanctuary codes completely lag-free and check them out on this server too, surrounded by some very nice generated plots. Join the Discord down below to gain access to all of my PvP and building settings, plus a bunch of useful binds. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, you can purchase yourself a fully custom build down to your exact specifications. A true prize for you and your team to utilize in wipes for your eyes only. And the TC tucked in through the second door. Breaking this twig will disconnect, just like so. And in order to replace, you're going to want to come from outside and place from this angle here, and that ensures that nobody can break the twig through the roof. So that's how you do that. And that's our little disconnect, and that will overlap towards the main base here, and that'll do for now. Also spreads the upkeep ever so slightly, taking a little bit of load off the main TC. We got two gatehouses, two externals to take us into the base, and it's the maximum visibility gatehouse here with a little airlock to play off as well. As we come inside, we get some nice Patrico angles down and through into the compound, and these are nice long wide angles watching a good half of the compound. You can throw a bed in here if you'd like, or we have some dedicated bedrooms as well on the opposite sides. Above our gatehouse is of course the auto turrets, and we have 4 of those in compound holding it down, also watching behind in towards the large furnace where the walls meet up. So great compound coverage overall. The turrets are watching through nice and well, and we got a good little seawall set up here too, which is great. It's gonna be hard for raiders to take the wall path cost through here, and they're gonna struggle with that. Inside on the opposite end of the gatehouses, we've got 2 bedrooms now, and I've fit 4 beds in here, a couple lockers, and again the same Patrico angles watching down a good half of the compound as well. Overall nice and clean, quick and easy to do. And again, I said that these externals are optional. If you'd rather just connect it to main, that's all you need to do and have no build out over there, and that'll work just fine. We'll go ahead and come inside the base now though and let you guys see what's going on. So immediately we can enter in, and we have the option to airlock through into our shell, or we can take a mobility chute all the way up to Inner's floor, nice and quick. I can show that. Comes with some angles into our shell as we move up, giving us a bed respawn as well, and then finally a one-way angle looking into our inner peak downs, just like so. Here's our inners. I'll try not to spoil too much though, but that's how we set that up. Or you can run through your shell now and wrap around through to our front door. So this is how we set up the shell. Of course, there's lots of space here for deployables. Spam this around as you guys start to have a hopefully very loaded wipe. Opening up the front door, and that's going to take us now into the main base section. So we can jump up from here, and that'll take us into a nice 2x2 starter. Over here we have a stair bunker setup, and then a nice little loot room, and a jump up to 3rd floor. So you can spam some boxes and beds through here. Good spot for the furnaces too. And that's how we set all that up. Dropping down into our core now, this is where you can add the stair bunker. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. We can drop inside, and this is your main 2x2 starter base. Very standard stuff here, folks, but the tech, it comes out as we go further up here. All of this should look pretty familiar, but we're going to get pretty techy as we go on. So standard 2x2 starter here, and of course, you throw your stair on that twig, and that's going to allow you to bunker this floor. Main TC in the center there, nice and safe. And the stair bunker sits on the twig, blocking the single door entrance as so. Breaking the twig is going to pop that bunker, which is super nice. There we go. And we can actually stair bunker from this angle as well, stopping anyone coming from above. So there we go, bunkers up there and a bunkers down here, which is pretty nice to set up, super easy to move around. Of course, the console guys, you're not going to gain access to this, but I promise the base does not need it. It's just an addition. Feel free to build the base. Despite not having the stair bunker, it's still a good home. As you know, with the ring 2x2 seal, we do get a bit of a weird floor in the center here, good for some beds and such in the middle, before we airlock out into our inner peak downs. This is also where the main mobility comes to a close, kind of like a 4x4, where we come up towards a more online raid ready spot, and then the mobility chutes continue towards a little bit more loot space and shooting floor and such. So 2 ways to airlock out from here, and of course with the low wall section you can kind of check if anyone's around your inners as well. But these are the inner peak downs, so you can't drop through these, which is nice. You can play off of all these angles. You got the retakes over here, and we wrap all the way through in a full 360, giving us some nice angles down and around into our inners for anyone that may be snooping around through there towards the front door and such. Overall nice angles, good for online raid, but the space also packs plenty of offline raid potential as well, which I really like. Again, we got the 2 mobility chutes that I showed before, and that's on the opposite side of the base as well, and we can take this jump up to another level. Jumping up from here now, we get a little bit of loot behind. You can see a Patrico bedroom that's keeping this kind of angle safe. Anyone jumping up from this area is going to have a hard time taking this floor off you, and this allows you to retake your inners as well, dropping down from up here. So we get a few more beds here, and you could fit even more than I've placed. An additional loot room off to the side as well, which is super nice. And this loot space is 2 walls from the outside as well, so you can actually store some decent stuff up here. Another barrel in there, and that's our little angle there to watch anyone coming in from the inners floor. Then we can finally jump up, and these are some one-ways now looking towards shooting floor. If you imagine the door not being there as well, you can retake out towards, giving us almost 360 degrees as we look around the shooting floor, and all these angles are one-way, which means that nobody can actually shoot back at you while you're in here, and you can just ankle by the shooting floor completely for free with no risk, which is pretty nice. And that's on both sides. You can see these floors are split. So we get another loot room over here as well with the same kind of setup. Dividing the center makes it a lot safer, and it's very unlikely that raiders are going to hit both of these paths, which mean you'll keep at least 1 loot room and the extra barrels around and such too. My furnace is gone, but we get the same angles here as well as we jump up, out and through to our shooting floor. As for the shooting floor now, I'm going to open up some doors so we get an idea as to what's going on. We get a little ring around the center here, and again, deployables can go in here. They'll all be 2 walls. You can throw beds in this area as well, which I really like. Here are some of our downward angles, and they're looking through towards where the compound kind of meets up. All of these are FOB protected as well, so they're good tight angles to utilize. We can feel reasonably safe using these against raiders. It'd be good for more than 1 hopefully before anyone does shoot back. You can see we do have some retake potential as well if we're coming in from the kind of bedrooms off to the side. If I open up these doors now, you'll get some more angles too. Again, FOB protected downwards towards the externals. Coming out here, we get a Patrico setup on the corners. Really nice angles here. Great for raid base and great for looking down as well. And again, these angles mimic too. This is the jump up to roof that gives us a retake into shooting floor as well. A lot of retake potential for these floors, as of course they are super important areas, and the base kind of just mimics as we go around, splitting up the shooting floor with the beds, making it hard to retake these sections, which I really like. It's going to be good for online raid defense, and splitting everything up like this as well is of course good for offline too. So I really like how this floor sits, and I think you guys will be impressed with it as well. Jumping up in the center here, these one-ways repeat themselves. Again, if I take off the door, you'll get a better idea. So we're one-waying all the way through and around our roof. Anyone up here is not going to be able to shoot back at us while we're on this angle, which makes it so effective. Not to mention we have 4 additional jump ups as well, and again those come with some one ways. So if we jump up from here, same angles again, down, bar angles, jump up, we get the retake to shooting floor, and then we're out again onto a little roof section where you could fit some more beds here. Dropping down onto these is going to give us more one-ways onto our roof. If anyone is hanging around there, potentially holding the door as you exit out, you'll be able to play off this, take them out, and again, you're completely safe on these angles, and then you get the downward from up here as well too. So it's very multi-purpose, and these are fall protected so that they can't be used against you. Overall, a very smart roof and shooting floor setup that I'm particularly proud of. Once we exit out onto roof now, we get a couple more downward angles here again, and these are fall protected too, so you don't have to worry. Then a Patrico down the center, and that's going to watch out far and towards our external as well, which is pretty nice. Good tight angle here. You'd expect to get 1, 2, or 3 before anyone even really shoots back at you on this one. And we have 4 turrets covering the roof to make sure we are completely covered. A couple of harder turrets to take down right over here, and then slightly more general turrets that are watching out and through all the way through. 4 vending machines is probably overkill unless you're a proper salesman, but these are optional and you can throw them down here and they should set up just fine. And we have 4 exits out into roof, tons of one-ways to help us retake this roof. That's the center part in the middle here as well. Overall, a very banging roof. 2 windmills to cap us off. You can fit a minicopter in the center here and some protected SAM sites on every single corner. Overall, a very impressive HQ and 2x2 in my opinion. I reckon you boys and girls are pretty impressed with this one and you're going to want to know how much it costs. So I'll go ahead and break that down for you now. First of all, on screen is the total build cost. Second up is that build cost in box amount. And in this example, the main upkeep is spread between 3 TCs and the main TC is holding the majority of that upkeep. Next, we're going to go ahead and break down how to build this one. Remember to join the Discord if you have any questions and let's get moving on. All right, let's get on to the building now so we know what's going on. Of course, we're going to start off with a simple 2x2 and we enter on the second floor so we can wall this entire thing in. The bare minimum we need to claim our build spot is a 1x1 with a TC on the right hand side. We can then add our jump up on the left and wrap around with doors, adding ceilings all the way through. And from there, on the top right, we add a single door, wrap in the rest. Just like so. Don't add a shelf in here. We want to be able to stair bunker the next jump up, leaving that open, just like so. And at this stage already, you can now bunker your base, assuming that you're on PC Rust. There you go. So you get a little twig triangle there. Stair with that orientation exactly. There we go. You can place it from this side if that helps. And that's your bunker ready to go. Make sure you stay that twig and have wood upkeep in the TC. Up top here, that's going to be a loot room, and then this is going to be a wrap along through to exit the base. We'll go ahead and build our jump up now so that everybody can get in the house nice and easy. Starts off by honeycombing the bottom floor, and then we enter in from here, jumping off to the left like this. You can actually seal all of this in, and even single door this. So we get our airlock in this orientation. There we go. Over on this side, we do have a loot room. If you want to save some cost though, you can just build out for now and honeycomb this and throw your loot room in here. And there we go. And then if you want to get this floor going as well, we can go ahead and do that real quick. So we're going to hop up from this level with a single door to the right, allowing us to stair bunker this area. Then from there, you actually need to cover this in half walls, seal it in, and then low walls on top. And there we go. Important you set up like that because the ceiling does not match the footprint. And we're going to seal things up at that height level. But you can now stair bunker from this side. And now you are bunkered from top down as well, which is pretty handy. Over here though, we're going to fill in the honeycombing because this looks weird floating out. So we're going to bring this through. There we go. And that can be full sealed in honeycomb just like that. On the remaining 2 sides, we're going to do a bit of honeycombing as well. But we start off with a door in the center, just like this. Honeycombing the sides in front, and we'll give ourselves a square to jump off here with a half triangle on the inside, and this later on becomes a jump up. But to just full seal this in for now, we can add in another door frame and half wall into windows here, and that will allow us to fill in the combing and keep that area a little bit safer. Add a frame inside this and try to get those embrasures down as early as you can so that we've got the full honeycombing on either side. And the exact same thing goes down over on this side here, wrapping in with the triangles, give us a square to stand on. We're going to get a half floor in here, so we can jump up. And it's a door frame again, then half wall windows for our honeycombing. There we go. Boom. Embrasures on as soon as we can for our one way. There we go. Beautiful. So this is how the base should be looking at this stage. A little bit weird, but I mean, you got some angles up here low-key, so it kind of works. At this stage in the base, I'm going to throw on two-sided symmetry. The base is pretty much two-sided sim for the majority of the time, so hopefully that'll be simple enough to follow. And I'll have a little icon on the top left of the screen to let you know what kind of symmetry we're in. All it means is when I place a square on this side, it's going to do it on the opposite side, symmetry by 2. So we're going to finish off the entire footprint here so we can get our shell going. So off of each square, we're going to do 2 triangles, just like that. Then from there, you're going to come off of one of the sides with a triangle into 2 squares. And you can see that lines up nice, and this is called a H-June square. Currently, this square is not connected to the rest of the build, so keep that in mind. Don't leave it in this stage, it will start to decay. This is not a foundation connection here. So what we need to do is add in a couple of frames and in the walls as we would do as well. There we go. So we'll do this on this side as well. Triangle, square, square, and frames and walls to link everything together. That's the bare minimum we need to keep the shell in place. Now, in line with our jump up and our window section is going to be our front door. Our front door leads into a single door airlock, and then we wall the sides in like this, adding ceilings on top for a little bedroom retake section. And that's on both sides of the base, just like that. Over on this side, it's just fully walled in and nothing fancy happens here. And we just leave it pretty much open plan, like so, for our inners. There we go. We raise those parts up, nice and simple, taking it to the right height. Over on the squares, nothing fancy here either. These are just going to get walled in, just like so. But over here, things are going to get a little bit different. So we take the jump up, and then on the left and right, we get our windows looking in. Put a little half-height frame first of all. There we go. And that'll give us an angle here without ruining the inners. And then we can wall off the back side of this, sealing it off, and add a jump to take us up to the next height level. Finally, we'll finish off this section as well while we're here, leaving this open at the top because we're going to go up one more time. There we go. So you can leave it sitting like this, and we'll throw down the triangles for our inner peaks. There we go, just like this. And now that seals up our shell, so that's all sealed, nobody can drop in there. You can jump through this one, or you can have a teammate kind of stand on your head sometimes, and that'll be enough to ensure nobody even gets down there. Next up, we're going to finish off this floor and try and seal it all in. So we can add a door frame here, and we can add a door frame here, and that's it. Everything else needs to be half wall, low wall, just like so. Setting it up just like that. It all needs to be half wall, low wall around here. And the reason for that is because this down here is like an illegal gap. Essentially, no triangle or square is going to fill that in. So we need to do a different seal up on the roof to close everything in. Hopefully that makes some level of sense, I'm hoping. And when it comes to sealing it all in, you'll see how that works in a moment here. So we're going to start by wrapping this entire floor in walls. And we don't do anything fancy around here. It's all pretty standard. You can either set this up with a single door airlock, kind of like this, or you can just add in some doors. Try to door off this section so that you can't lose your whole inners floor at once. And then on this side, we want to make a single double door airlock, giving us a bit of space to play off of. And we still got the two-sided symmetry on for this, so keep that in mind. And then you can just frame that in. So you add all of that in there, start flooring towards, just like so. And then you want to stop, and you can see that we're going from a 2x2 in the middle, and we're going to go to a circle instead. We're going to start on the side with our mobility chute, so hopefully that makes more sense. And you go from squares here into triangle, square, triangle, and then you've got an obvious circle down the middle. Then to give ourselves an actually half decent roof exit, we can just wall that in like this and seal it off at the top. Now we got a bit of roof campability. We got our inners floor ready to go. And at this stage in the build, it makes sense to me to start getting our compound going. At this stage in the build, you're going to have a couple of options. Remember that your compound gatehouse is actually connectable to Mainbase, and you don't need to do an external if you don't want to. You could just hide your main TC and go with that. But I'm going to build it the same I did in the tour, which means we have 2 that are connected and 2 that aren't. So we're going to start on the front door side here and come out with 1 square into a second square. And then you can do triangles followed by squares. Just like so. And this is the shape that we're looking for. You can bring this up and connect it to Mainbase like so. There we go. And from here we build out 1 more square, and this is our gatehouse. So gatehouse leads to front door like so. You can then wrap around the back and match the height. And then finally you can go into a half wall with a spot of chain link, setting it up like this. We then do a half wall here, low wall underneath. and a double door to exit this, and we cover this part with some roofs. Now give our turret the maximum downward angle, and just place your turret roughly in the middle there, and seal that whole part off. Final thing we need to do is to wrap triangles round off the back of this, and float a window just like so. Should have decent stability to go on. And that is 2 out of 4 done. There you go. Over on this side, I'm going to do an external, so we're not going to reconnect. I'm going to come out with the square, break it, triangle square on either side, wrap around for a window, place the half wall so it floats, bit of chain link, and this time is going to be a bedroom. So this part here is full sealed in for extra beds. You still do the windows into double door here. You get the half floor inside, low wall underneath. Wrap it up around the back. And we cover the gap here with a roof ramp. Turret goes in the middle again. And you can ceiling all of this off, and we do not connect at all. Just want to leave it like this. And then we need to connect this entire part to an external TC. So we're going to come out over to the side here, float a frame, add another one here, add some soft side protection, another square into 3 triangles, and we ramp off of this. And where the ramp meets the external, we're going to hit it with a half wall into full wall, so that this ramp is cutting halfway through a full wall. That is very important. From there, we make the connection from the ramp side, placing a twig triangle frame. And then we can do a spot for a TC here. Garage door to lead us in, another door like so, and wrap it in half walls. And then you're good to throw a TC in there. So now we got 2 externals going and 2 sides where we connected to main. And at this stage, we are ready for some high walls. For the high walls, they are super basic and easy to do. So I'm just going to throw on the 4-sided symmetry, and we'll start at the gatehouse side. You kind of want to angle this away from the gatehouse until it goes blue. And that's looking pretty good to me. So you can see it's going to be coming slightly away. It's not like a straight line. It's going to be bending out towards. And then you just place 1 high wall, looking to make a 4 high wall seal here. So that should line up just like that. There we go. If there's a gap, not a massive deal. There's going to be a large furnace in the middle here. So that's all that matters. And then you want to line the large furnace up with this gap in between the 2 windows here, covering that gap and making it easy to access, and 2 industrial pipe through here as well. Then you can just window these off, maybe embrasure to play off of, something like that will work fine. And that's your compound done. As for the barricade placement, it's pretty complicated. You throw 1 on there and 1 on the bedroom, and there we go. Sealed up nice. Back on 2-sided symmetry now, and we're up on the roof level. We're going to start to build this section in now. So you're going to come to the front facing side over here and look for this triangle to the left of the square. You're going to double half wall, just like that. Frame in front, and a triangle frame. You can do that on the other side of the square as well. Same with the 2-sided sim on, just like this. Make sure to cover up the front like this. And we'll do the same on this side as well. So to the left of the square. And the same again on this side too. Around the front on the actual square, we don't do anything, so you can just seal that in. Nice and simple. And comb it on this side. And over here, we just do full walls, and they are complete honeycomb. Nice and easy. Now with 2-sided symmetry still on, we're going to throw a frame in the middle and build a loot room with a retake off to the side here. You can add door frames coming through all the way like this, and ceilings as well. Then from there, we're going to add a window here, just like so. We can add half walls here and here, and that's going to mimic on the other side, so everything's going nice and symmetrical. Then you can add windows on top of this. Give that one a rotate too, and add a floor inside. This one here is going to be our jump up, so we add a frame, and then a floor again. Dropping back down, you can add a half floor here, with a half wall on top, and that will create our Patrico angle, And we add a furnace so we can still jump up and use this angle. And from here, this is the angles we're going to be looking through. This is going to be our way out. You can add a wall here. And you ceiling on top of all these retakes. And everywhere there was a window, you'll add a window again. Just like so. Frame again above, so we jump up on our jump up. And then the floors. And we finish off that roof exit with some half walls and some ceilings. So that's how that should look. Definitely a little bit confusing, so if you are feeling the confusion, don't worry. But that's how we want this center part to look. Next thing we need to do is raise up some of these corners so that we can actually use them. So if you just take them to the height of 2, add in a floor, add in half walls, then frame again, half walls again, and floors. We go 1, 2, into a half, 1, into a half. And there we go. That brings up our corners. Then from there you can drop off a little bit and place some frames just floating on the half wall with some door frames off to the side. Then from there you can add a window coming towards the base on either side and a half wall going out away from the base. Then we add floors on here, frames up here, and windows. And then you get your Patrico. You can also add a couple door frames in here and a ceiling on top. We can do that on the opposite end as well. So over here, drop down a little bit and we float some frames. Just like so. And windows towards the base. Half walls towards nothing. Frames on top and windows in front. You can frame that in. There we go. Over on this side, we're going to do a full wall. And you can place this temporarily and place a frame coming through the wall. And there we go. And you can half wall this to cap it off and create a little room here to use. A bed can go in here as well if you like, and you leave it floating out like this. We'll do the same thing again, using that to float a frame through the wall. And there we go. That's how that sets up. Then from our shooting floor exit, you're going to want to do a half wall into a low wall. And right next to that, you do the same thing again. There we go. Then from there, you do single door next to that on both sides. So that wraps through, keeping it nice and neat and symmetrical. From there, you can add in a half wall with a frame on top next to the low wall, and then a half wall and seal it in, just like that. We do half wall, seal it in, half wall, frame next to the low wall. Then you can use a furnace again to jump up and give us a retake into shooting floor. Then you wall in this roof exit like this, and we double single door like that. You can add in windows here and here for a bit of visibility, but I'd recommend that you glass those in, just like that. And then your embrasures go in like this, and we glass here. Then you have your vending machine in towards core, then a vending machine on the left, and our door to go out on the right. And there we go. We need to do that one more time because we're on two-sided sim. We're jumping up with a deployable again here so we can use this angle still, and then we're wrapping in our roof exit. Adding windows facing away from the base, half walls on this side, bit of glass on them, double single door here, and a machine faces in towards core, then we exit out the door this way. Around the front here we have embrasure facing embrasure, so that sets up like this, and then you get a floating floor frame to link through like that, and we cover that in half walls to fall protect. Just like so. Then from there you can add in some frames, join it all up, and create a nice little Patrico in the middle here. And everything sets up like this, giving us our one-ways onto the roof. Add a triangle roof ramp coming off the top here to keep things safe, and we do the same again. So window, window, floor, floor, frame, frame, half wall, and Patrico down the middle. You can join this up for more stab. Frame in the middle here. All your one-ways are made. There we go. Off the corners here, we can do a standard roof ramp. And again, your roof ramps down below, just like this. Then on one side, you can do a standard turret just like this, bringing it reasonably forward with chain link in front. Of course, this whole part can be floored in. I don't know why I've left that so long, but yeah, you're good to floor that in. And then over on the opposite side, we do a little bit of a better turret, setting it up like this. giving us a spot for a windmill up top. And your turret goes in the back here with some chain link, and you could even add some more chain link too if you wanted. Just sitting there. And there we go. Nice and safe turret up top to watch through the roof. And then a couple of more basic turrets off to the side here. And then once you've done that, that completes the base design. Hopefully boys and girls have enjoyed this video. If you did, then please feel free to leave me a like and drop me a comment down below. Remember to check out the Patreon, maybe cop a custom for Christmas, and I'll see you boys and girls in the next video. See you in a bit.